Welcome to a 101 Spanish food channel. My name is Alex Fargas. I am the owner of La Paloma restaurant here in Hong Kong, in Sai Ying Pun. And today I'm going to demonstrate how to do the cochinillo, the suckling pig. Let me introduce the ingredients we need. We have a beautiful suckling pig from Spain, and then some herbs, onions, garlic, tomato, fennel to make the sauce. So I'm going to show you how to debone the suckling pig, how to cook the sauce, how to roast. Here, luckily, in the restaurant, we have a horno asador. It's a clay oven. It's this one here. Very nice. We imported from Europe. We can, later on, we will roast the suckling pig here. Follow me and let's get started. We have the suckling pig here. This suckling pig is basically, they eat the milk. That is why the meat is so soft and so tender. The first thing we need to do is to butcher the suckling pig. So we take out the head and we can reserve for later. Some people like to make the sauce. Then here we have the shoulder. So we have the shoulder, the leg, and here this part is the rib. The beauty of the suckling pig is the skin. So now when we butcher the suckling pig, we need to make sure we need to keep the maximum amount of skin to make it crispy. So the first thing I do is I separate where the ribs finish. The ribs finish here, okay? So I will cut the suckling pig not in two, okay? It's almost like 1/3, and then I keep the legs for later to show you how to do the butcher there, okay? Then now here, we can take this part out. Then now here, we have the espinazo, I don't know how you say in English, is the bone in the middle. So we will mark here the middle bone. Okay, we can see from here. So we make a line. And as I said before, we need the skin, very nice. So we see the shoulder when it's finished. So around here, we will also mark for later for the portion that we want for the restaurant and also for home. Then it will look beautiful. So you can imagine now here, the shoulder will have this shape because we have created this one. Then we go the other way and then we do the same again to look forward. Very easy. You come here and you go inside and basically you separe from the cage, from the ribs and from the bones. And as we have the mark, it's already out. Same thing here. Put the knife. The knife we always put towards, not like this, is towards the bone. So we make sure we are taking out all the meat stays in our portion and not in the rib cage, okay? Now here we have the ribs. For the ribs, we do little bit different. We come inside, we see the ribs, put the knife here, and then we just follow. As we said before, we only want the skin because the skin is the nicest part. And as it's such a baby pig, suckling pig, it doesn't have too much meat, so we don't need to have it. And then we come to the other side and we do the same. Always be careful to put the knife properly so you don't get cut, yeah? The good thing that you can do, if you wanna do it at home, the good thing is that you can ask your butcher to butcher for you, and you ask him to give you the shoulders, the legs, and the ribs separate. So that will be a very good thing to do at home, so you don't need to do this process at home. The bones, we will keep for making the sauce, okay? We will roast the bones with the garlic and everything, and we can reserve for later. Now we have the ribs here. As I say, they don't have too much meat, okay? But the skin is very crispy, will be very nice. So I will teach you now how to make very sexy suckling pig ribs, okay? We come on the inside, we remove this part. That again, in a kitchen, we don't rubbish anything. We just keep for the sauce. What we want is we will break a little bit the rib bone, okay? To be able to take out the skin down. Same process we did before. We will come here and we will see where we want. Then we make the line, and then we can go all the skin out until here to make it very, very nice. So we come here, you see, all the bones go down. So again, this is something very nice for later when you present on your dish. This part that is difficult to make a portion or half portion out of it, when you can present it very, very nice, then is can put on the plate. And again, when we butcher, we already thinking about the presentation, how later after we cook, how can be very nice present. I will teach you how to make it very sexy suckling pig ribs. Okay, we start, we can see the meat of the rib is here. As it's not too much, I suggest that this part, you don't make it too big, okay, because it doesn't have too much meat. And we mark our rib. Okay, we come inside, we take out this part, so we can see exactly what we are cutting. We come and we can so with this process we can make very nice portion, and maybe not to make one order of it, but we can complement a little bit the shoulder portion or maybe the leg portion. And then also for presentation wise, I feel it looks very, very nice. Okay, if you want, maybe these two bones that don't have a skin, you can take it out. And now here is the time for making it look nicer later. Okay, so from this part, from the ribs of the whole suckling pig, we can take these small two ribs. So this one, now we have the leg part, still have the bone in the middle. Okay, and we will do similar thing we did before for the shoulder. Okay, so we come here from the tail, we cut here, and then we cut here. Okay, then we go at the back, and then there is the hip bone that is a little bit inside the pig. So we need to come from the outside, yeah, and then we can come already and take out this bone from here. And as you can see, there is the hip bone here, so we just want to take it out from here. And why is important the line I make here? Again, I repeat, the most important is the skin. So with knowing all this, we don't wanna break the skin. Okay, and we just want to take it out. And then we do the same here. Again, always try to find the flat surface, so it's easy for you to not get cut, and to make sure that always you can see what you are doing. Okay. You can see this is the part. So okay, this one now, once it's like this, we have two options. We could take out the bone here, so maybe I can make one for you. We can take out the bone from here and then maybe roll it, and then you need to sew the leg, but I find it is too complicated, and it's better to just leave the bone inside and roast it, and then later after it's much easier to take the bone out. Now we have deboned the suckling pig, and here we have a mixture of salt, sugar and paprika. The shoulders will be around 1.5 hours, the legs around 2 hours, and the ribs around 45 minutes. This will help us to take out the excess of water and concentrate the flavor, and most important, to make sure that always has the same amount of salt. Okay, so let me marinate for you. So we take the leg first, that is the first one. We put on the salt. both sides of the leg. And then we'll put on another tray. We start with the legs, so then later this one is the last one we need to take out. Now the shoulder, that the shoulder will take a little bit less time than the ribs. So we have the legs around 2 hours, then the shoulder around 1 hour and a half, and then the ribs for 45 minutes. And the ribs we don't need to put too much because otherwise it might get very salty, just a little bit, because as I mentioned before, the meat of the ribs is very small, so no need to have so much marination for this one. And then the rest of the marination we put on top to make sure that everything goes inside the pig. Remember that the shoulder have a lot of bones inside, and as well we keep the leg bone inside, so they need more time because of that. Now we are going to cook the suckling pig sauce. The bones that we had before, we will roast in the oven, and then we have here a few vegetables. I like to put a little bit fennel, garlic. Of course, Spain is a country that we use a lot of thyme and rosemary, onion, tomato. We'll put a little bit tomato paste because always get a nice flavor, but also the color is good. Then it becomes more brown, the sauce. Then I love Tío Pepe, it's the sherry wine from Spain. This will go well because it will make the sauce to cut the fat of the pig. So we'll give a little bit acidity, very nice, and a little bit of brandy. Follow me and let's chop the vegetables. I always like to crush the garlic. This for the sauce again, so this increase the flavor, and then together with the herbs. Next one is the onion. Again, remember, as we are going to make it fast, this one, we need to cut it knowing how much the temperature will be. Remember, no, always try to find the good base for your vegetables so you don't get cut. Fennel, we are going to put at the end. Maybe the whole piece is not necessary, maybe half piece is enough. Cut it in piece. And always, as this will be the last step, we can cut it thin. The fennel is very aromatic, so no need to cook too much. Okay? One piece of the tomato will be enough. This one. The tomato will help us to deglaze the pan because it have a lot of water. So we always put at the end together with the tomato paste. Okay, so let's follow me and let's start cooking. Let's start cooking the sauce. Let's put a lot of olive oil, make it hot, and we start with the garlic. The garlic always help us to give the flavor, and this time we also add the rosemary and the thyme, so we are giving a nice flavor to the oil. We add the onion. In the beginning, I like to add high heat, but now, as the onion is already incorporated, we can lower the fire. We can add a little bit of sea salt, so the onion will take out a little bit of the water and will start to caramelize at the bottom of the pan. And we will cook for around 7 to 8 minutes until the onion change the color. We add the salt. We keep moving. The smell is just beautiful. The garlic, the rosemary, the onion. Me, I like to do it in not too long, okay? So then all these aromas stays in the oil and in the pan, okay? So I like to make it a little bit fast, this process. 7 or 8 minutes already passed. Let's add the fennel, and we keep cooking medium heat with the fennel. Again, 3 or 4 minutes until the fennel gives the aroma to the other vegetables. Now that we see that it starts to roast properly the vegetables, especially the garlic, it's time to add the tomato that we cut in cubes already. As I said before, the tomato will help us, will bring some of the water that we need. And we can add also a little bit more of the tomato paste. We cook now a little bit the tomato paste for around 2 to 3 minutes. We make sure it doesn't get burned, but the color change a little bit to more brown color. And then we will incorporate the suckling pig bones. Then now that we have roasted the suckling pig bones already inside, it's time to add it. I like to roast it like this first instead of doing it in the pan because it have a lot of fat, so you can remove some of the fat that is not necessary to go into your stock. Okay, we add everything. After you put the bones, it's time to add a little bit of the sherry wine. So you disglass all the pan at the bottom. All the aromas of the vegetables and the pig can mix together before we add the water. Now that we put the sherry wine and we can see again that all the wine is evaporate, it's time to add the brandy, and we can take out all the alcohol. We burn the alcohol. This is called flambé. Okay, very nice. When the fire is out, move a couple of times. Make sure the fire now is not high, because now all the sugars of the vegetables and from the suckling pig is there. I like to cook like this, very low fire now for around 30 minutes, and after that, then I add the water. Then I will cook for 4 hours. Now, as you can see, the suckling pig is already releasing the water from inside, and the salt is getting inside the pig. Now we will be ready to take out the shoulder and the ribs. Okay, so it's very easy. You just take out the salt and you rinse under the sink. You rinse under the sink. Then the skin, you can feel already is more dry, and then you dry it with a towel. And then let's do the same with the ribs. And then we can have very nice portion for 2 people. So we make sure all the water is out. We didn't want to use too much. You see, it's just to wash out the salt and the paprika and so on. And then now it's ready to put in the vacuum packs. The next step is to put the suckling pig in the vacuum pack. Okay, this one, if you don't have a vacuum pack at home, you can do it, you can comfit. So actually, what we are doing now is to comfit the pig. You can also do it in a pan, and then you put the pig covered in olive oil, and then it needs to cook around 80 to 90 degrees, so it confits. So the idea, the purpose, is to make the meat very soft, and then later the last one is to roast in the oven. In order to make all the suckling pigs the same, to maintain the quality, we use the vacuum pack and the slow cooking machine or the steam oven. So we make sure every single portion is cooked at the same temperature. They have the same amount of salt and same temperature. Most of you don't have a slow cooking machine. So as I say, you can use the confit, okay? As I mentioned before, in Spain, we love garlic, rosemary, thyme. The garlic I always crush because then it gets the flavor. And we put the extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so we will put like a generous portion of oil. So we make sure also that suckling pig is not dry, okay? Once we take all the air, it will be all full covered in oil. This is the sous-vide machine. We set up at 72 degrees and we cook for 12 hours. Here is the suckling pig that we just put in the vacuum pack. As you can see, it's covered in oil, and then we just keep it here for 12 hours. The thing that we'll do is the meat will be completely soft, will be tender, won't be dry because it have the oil, and then the cooking temperature is 72 degrees. It will be the perfect way to cook and have it always the same. After the suckling pig is cooked for 12 hours, what we can do is we put in ice water and then we keep. So every time that we have an order, we reheat and then we put in the oven the way you will see now, okay? We just open the bag carefully. We put on the tray. Again, most important thing, not to break the skin, because the skin, as I mentioned before, the skin is the most important thing for our dish. Make sure we don't have any black blood thing or something. Carefully take out the excess, and now it's ready for the last process. After we have marinate for 1.5 hours, then we slow cook for 12 hours, then we roast for about 45 minutes in the horno asador. Please follow me. So then now that we have cleaned perfectly the suckling pig, we can add inside the oven, and this process will take us around 45 minutes, okay? So what we need to do is we need to turn, because the oven have the heat from here. So we just turn a little bit around. We can put many and we can cook at the same time, but we just need to turn around the suckling pig. So now we wait 45 minutes and hopefully we will have a beautiful crispy skin suckling pig. So yeah, so let's move the suckling pig. As I say, the different places of the oven will have different heats. Okay, let's see, now it's been around 40 minutes. Let's see how it is. Oh wow, very nice and sexy. Very, very crispy. So now if we let it cool down the skin for about 2 to 3 minutes, then we will have it like crystal crispy skin. So now we are going to do a very simple sauce. Okay, in this case we will use potato, but you can you can even use without the potatoes to finish up for the sauce. Okay, this is one of my favorite ones. Is we put a splash of extra virgin Spanish olive oil. Then we have a little bit of garlic and thyme and rosemary. Then we cook the garlic. Again, the garlic is important. I like to do like this because it's like I'm comfiting the garlic. As you can see, you can see there is quite a lot of oil, because this sauce will be like, we will cut the sauce with the oil. So when we present on the dish, we'll have you will see the sauce, but also cut with the oil. We will add some potatoes. These potatoes we boil already, so they are already cooked. We just want to give them a little bit of color. As you know me, I love to add always a little bit of the dry cherry. This always will help us also to protect not to burn the garlic. And as is cherry wine, will give the acidity necessary to cut the fat of the suckling pig. So we make sure we reduce the alcohol of the cherry wine. That's why the pan is so noisy, because the water from the wine is evaporating. We need to make sure not to burn the garlic. And here we have the beautiful sauce that we make before. Okay, so what's the bones, all the sauce, and then we just add maybe half here. The potato is already cooked. You will see how good is this. Okay, have all the aroma of the garlic, the thyme, and then the cherry wine. And then the potatoes, in this case, we will have them a little bit soft, and then the balance of the dish will be the crispy skin. Will be beautiful. Okay, we have the suckling pig here. And the skin is completely crispy, if you can hear. So now, because the suckling pig still have oil, what we don't want is to turn and have all the skin with the mix with the juice. So now this part is a little bit tricky to debone without break the skin. Then I have the bones from here that I can take out. Then now I make sure that here the other bone, the big one, can come out easily. As the suckling pig is already comfy and is so soft, the bone is very easy to take out. Then I can cut it too. We can finish with the potatoes in the middle and a lot of sauce. Y aquí está el cochinillo de la paloma, suckling pig. Enjoy. Oh my God, this must be very crispy. Delicioso.